It's a tale as old as time. The Vancouver Canucks, and making seemingly unnecessary, redundant roster moves. And I only say that half-heartedly joking because I understand there's a reason for them to go out there and make a move where they send a guy down and then call him back up a day later. They did it a lot last year, trying to work out through the cap, trying to accrue cap space, and give themselves a bigger cushion heading into the trade deadline. Vancouver did that last year, and I think it was a pattern that a lot of us got used to, so when we see this news coming out earlier this morning, it doesn't really surprise us, but it's like, oh, they're still doing this. Okay. We made a video yesterday talking about how the Vancouver Canucks sent Nikita Tolopilo and Elias Pettersson down to the AHL's Abbotsford Canucks. Well, earlier this morning, GM Patrick Allvin announced that Jiri Patera has been assigned to Abbotsford, defenseman Elias Pettersson has been recalled from Abbotsford, and Tolopilo has been recalled from Abbotsford under emergency conditions. So, literally, it's just the same guys that were sent down are being called back up, and you've got Jiri Patera getting brought back down to the AHL's team as well. Hey, guess what? Tolopilo and Elias Pettersson were able to play for the Abbotsford Canucks yesterday. They did get themselves a game in action against the Calgary Wranglers. They won 2-1. Nice to see that. Elias Pettersson didn't end up scoring any points, and he was a -1, but Nikita Tolopilo went out there and stopped 23 out of 24 shots against, and he ended up getting the shootout win. So, yeah, I guess that's what they were going out there for, right? Jiri Patera going back down to Abbey, Tolopilo coming back up. I think it does make sense that Vancouver decided to give him an AHL game before putting him back in a National Hockey League spot, considering the time off that he ended up taking, and considering the fact that he's just a better goaltender than Jiri Patera at this point. I don't think a lot of fans have much confidence in Patera and the game he plays. So having Tolopilo up as the backup for Kevin Lankinen at the moment is quite the good sign. Now, speaking about the goaltending, Kevin Lankinen and otherwise, there was an update from Adam Foote earlier this morning that a lot of folks were getting super excited about. Take a look at this. Firstly, Brendan Batchelor went out there and tweeted that Thatcher Demko is on the ice ahead of the start of Canucks practice today. Connor Garland is here too, in non-contact red. And Nils Hoglander is in a regular jersey. So obviously, some important pieces finally suiting up for the Vancouver Canucks. You also had yourselves Foote going out there and saying this, that Nils Hoglander and Thatcher Demko could both potentially return for the game against Buffalo next Thursday. And all I'm thinking about when I hear that is, okay, well, that's when things are going to turn around, right? Supposedly? Once Hoglander comes back, once Demko comes back, the Vancouver Canucks can start to win hockey games again? I don't know if you noticed, but they're one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League right now. We'll see whether or not these two are able to save the franchise from the depths of non-contention and force themselves back into a playoff spot. Not too optimistic that that happens, but still, we'll see. Also, I think it's kind of reasonable for Canucks fans to look at some of the goaltending moves that have been made lately, take a look at the Thatcher Demko situation and be like, yeah, well, the Canucks said a few weeks ago that it would be 2 to 3 weeks. It's been way more than that. He's still hurt. This guy's been hurt for so long throughout pockets of last season and beyond. It's very difficult to believe the idea that Thatcher Demko is ever going to be able to play a 50-something game NHL season anymore at this point. And it's just so disappointing because he's so good, right? Like when he is in, when he plays, when he's healthy, he is one of the best in the world. But unfortunately, it's been a long time since we've been able to see that without any sort of health complications. Now, speaking about players who are the best in the world at what they do, let's shift our gears over to Quinn Hughes and not talk a little bit more about trades, but instead the market sentiment about Quinn Hughes and what he had to say about the frustrations that he is going through, because he did speak out about this lately, and I wanted to dive into this here in this video commentary. But first, let's dive into this video. So, Bick Nazar posted a clip of Quinn Hughes from the Colorado game a few nights ago, and you probably have seen this already. It was going around Twitter. It was a really big and popular piece of media. I mean, it's almost at 1 million views, and the video is pretty interesting. It's Colorado coming in on a rush on Vancouver, and Quinn kind of gets caught in the middle of the ice, and inevitably is behind the play. The Avs come in, they try to do some work, but Quinn Hughes is back-checking just like JT Miller was in that Vegas clip where Ben Hutton scored. And Quinn is just kind of lollygagging, gliding back, he's not putting in any effort, and then after the play heads towards the front of the goal, you can see Quinn just kind of gliding away. He glides over onto the side there while the guys are fighting for the puck. Everybody's looking at the puck. Quinn Hughes is turning around. And it's one of the poorest displays of body language that we have seen out of Quinn Hughes so far this year and throughout the course of his NHL career. You had Brian going out there and responding to this, saying, "Hey, I'm serious, get this guy off of my team. I don't care how good you are, this is unacceptable for anybody." But the captain of the team? Completely ridiculous. People have been comparing Hughes' body language to JT Miller, but if we're being honest, Hughes is worse. And if anyone should be booed or ridiculed for being a quitter, it isn't Miller or Tocchet, it's this guy. Right here. Now again, I get it. Quinn Hughes plays 30 minutes a night, JT Miller doesn't do that. JT's nonsensical and non-existent back checks would happen far more frequently than Quinn Hughes's are happening in 25-26, so I can give Hughes a little bit of a pass in the conversation of comparing him to JT, but obviously we can't give him a pass when you see the clip itself and you acknowledge that this type of stuff is happening. Like, this is not positive, this is absolutely unacceptable for anybody. It's just, I'm not going to go out there and say that Quinn is particularly worse than JT at this stage. Like, JT did it more often, JT doesn't have the load responsibility that Quinn does, also JT isn't as good as Quinn is, so I'm like, yeah, there's some nuance there, but still. You had some replies to this sentiment, like this. Gary Mason of the Globe and Mail going out there and saying, "I'm incredibly surprised and disappointed by Quinn Hughes' demeanor in recent days, on and off the ice. Not very professional, and in fact, quite immature. It won't hurt his trade value, but it shows a side of him that I wish I hadn't seen." And you have some Canucks fans that are responding to this Gary Mason tweet, debating whether or not, like, this is some sort of a mouthpiece sentiment from Francesco Aquilini or whatever, but, like, you know what? We'll just leave it how it is. A journalist is going out there and calling Quinn Hughes out. This is what Quinn said about his play on the ice, where he looked frustrated. "Of course, I feel like I've seen pretty much everything under the sun here in Vancouver, good and bad. And you want to win, and losing sucks." Okay, so is that it? Is that where things are going now? Because the Canucks are losing, Quinn's going out there and saying, "Yeah, like, I'm looking frustrated. I want to win." Is that really how it's going to go down? I'm not sure. But you could let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Quinn Hughes and the way things have gone so far? This quote makes it seem like he wants out. Like, he's agreeing. "Ah, frustrated. I'm frustrated. Yeah, losing sucks. And I've seen a lot of it here." I don't know, man. It's tough. I think at this point, for Vancouver Canucks fans, we can just hibernate for a little bit. Wait until the Olympics, come out of hiding, see Canada go out there and try to take down the US, and then just peace out until the draft in 2026, right? That seems to be the path that the average Canucks fan will go down at this point. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these Vancouver Canucks roster moves? The latest on Hoglander and Thatcher Demko, plus Quinn Hughes speaking out about his frustration. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.